Hi everyone, my name is Mohammed Hassan, and in this video I'm going to go through with you how you can set up your Trade Republic account. I'll go through the user interface, I'll show you how you can search different ETFs and stocks, and a little bit more about Trade Republic and setting up your profile. I've been getting many messages from people asking about how they can get started with Trade Republic. They usually have certain questions about how they can search different ETFs and stocks in the Trade Republic platform. If you're looking for a tutorial on how you can get registered with Trade Republic, step by step on the things that you need to know before you can register with them, I have made a video on that here. So once you register with Trade Republic, you'll have to verify your identity. Once your identity is verified, you can start investing with Trade Republic. You'll get an email notification from Trade Republic that your account has been verified. So once your account is verified, you can open up your Trade Republic app and it will show something like this here. Here you'll have your new Trade Republic account details. So this is the IBAN number where you can send your money from your main account into the Trade Republic account so that you can start investing. At the moment, there's no automatic option where you can connect your current account or your main account from which you can draw money into Trade Republic. So at the moment, you will have to manually send in the funds into your Trade Republic account first before you can buy any stocks or ETFs. Let's go through the basic user interface of Trade Republic. Firstly, you'll see the main screen. If you haven't received any funds from your main account, it will show something like this. Once you receive some funds, it will have a different look. Next comes the search bar. Here you can put in the name of any stock or ETF that you're looking for. When you click the search option, you will be given the hot stocks. For example, right now we're having Coinbase, BioNTech, Xiaomi, etc. If you scroll a little bit lower, you'll also see the hot ETFs. For example, MSCI, Emerging Markets, Core MSCI World, Global Clean Energy, etc. If you scroll down a little bit further, you will see hot derivatives. Now, I would recommend that beginners please stay away from derivatives as they are very complex and out of the realm for beginners. You will need to do a lot of research before you can understand what derivatives are and how they work. So please stay away from them if you are a beginner. If you want to search any stock or ETF, just click on the search option. Now here we're going to search the S&P 500 ETF. In the search bar, we're going to put in SP 500 and we'll click show all ETFs based on SP 500. So now we'll get a complete list for the ETFs that are based on the S&P 500 index. On the top, we have S&P 500 Information Technology, S&P 500 Euro, S&P 500 USD, so on and so forth. Usually people ask me that how can they get started with S&P 500 if it's more than 300 euros? Well, there are two options you can choose from. One is the S&P 500 accumulating and the other one is the S&P 500 distributing. The difference between these two is that the S&P 500 accumulating accumulates the dividends that you get from the various companies from the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 distributing distributes the dividends that are being paid from these companies. But in here, if you go into the core S&P 500 distributing, you can see that each ETF is actually costing 34 euros 36 cents at the moment. So if you want to get started, maybe you can have a look at this ETF. Similarly, if you are looking for a single stock, you can also put it in the search bar. For example, we'll search for Apple. So we'll put in Apple here and just click here. At the time of making this video, the stock market is closed. You can have a look that there's a moon icon there, which means that you cannot buy or sell stocks and ETFs at the moment as the market is closed. However, with Trade Republic, you can start buying and selling between 7:30 in the morning and 11 at night, only on working days. So if it's a holiday, the stock market is closed and you cannot buy and sell stocks and ETFs at that time. Now that we've searched for Apple, we can have a look at the performance for the last working day, for the last week, last month, the last year, and the maximum performance, which is usually a couple of years. Here we can have a look that Apple was 20 euros 39 cents on 25th of April 2016. And we can easily scroll through the different time period within the maximum range that's given on Trade Republic. If we scroll down a little bit, we'll get the information matrix. For example, the day range, at what price the stock was being sold throughout the day. So the minimum range and the maximum range is given here. Then there's an option of 52-week range. After that is the opening and closing bid. After that, we'll have the bid and the ask, then the market cap, dividend yield, etc. If you scroll down a little bit lower, here we'll see an option of create savings plan. If you want to create a savings plan, you can simply click here and start this process. I have a video on how you can create a savings plan. You can have a look at it here. If you're liking the content so far, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button. Below the savings plan, we can have a look that there's the dividend yield section. Here we can see that how much dividend was being paid by Apple in the previous years and the current year. So in February 2021, Apple had paid 0.17 euros per share as a dividend. Beneath that, we can also have a look at the analyst view. These are the views from different analysts, but I would recommend that you do your own research, and this is just an indicator. Below that is the upcoming events. For example, on the 28th of April, there's an earning call for Apple, and you can scroll left or right to see if there are other event options available. Beneath that is the interesting stocks option, then the derivatives. As I said before, be careful, derivatives are very complex, and as a beginner, you should do a lot of research before you dive into those things. And near the end, you have information about which country this stock is from, which sector, which index it belongs to, and some important details like the ISIN number and the WKN number. And then at the end, some latest news that concerns this stock. So if you go back and let's search for the S&P 500 ETF again, if we scroll down on the ETF option, Trade Republic gives us the focus of this ETF. What kind of companies are in there, which issuer is actually issuing this ETF, what kind of total expense ratio there is. What total expense ratio means is the fee that the ETF provider, in this case the iShares, is actually charging you. So this amount is being charged on a yearly basis, and it automatically gets cut from the ETF value, so you don't need to worry about that. But one thing to consider is the lower the ETF total expense ratio, the cheaper it is for you. Then beneath that, it's similar metrics as the single stocks. Then you can simply create a savings plan, the distribution for the dividends. Then beneath that, you can see the different sectors which are involved in this specific ETF. You can have a look at all of the sectors that are involved and the companies that are involved. Beneath that, you can have a look at the composition of the ETF. So here you can look that 5.9% of this ETF is actually Apple, 5.53% Microsoft, 4.04% Amazon, so on and so forth. You can have a look at all of the stocks that are within this ETF by simply clicking show all. Below that, there's the core data, for example, the domicile, inception date, etc. After that, we'll look at the order manager. Here we can also set up a savings plan by simply clicking create savings plan, and we can search from a list of the ETFs. As I mentioned before, you can either go to the individual stock or ETF and create a savings plan there, but you can also simply go to the order manager and create a savings plan here. There's no difference between these two options. Then we can go to our profile section. Here we can see what balance we have in our account. Below that, we'll get our buying and selling stocks and ETFs information. So if we set up any savings plan, we'll get a notification here. If we buy anything or if we sell anything, we'll get a notification here, and we can select that and have a look at the details which are belonging to that order. So if we click on the cog option, which is actually the setting option, we can have a look at our name, mobile phone number, email address. We can change our PIN. If your phone has a touch ID, you can either activate or deactivate it. The app appearance, your personal data can be also seen here. Then your securities account details, the reference account, which is actually the account that you put in during the registration process. This is the account from which you can send money into your securities account or your Trade Republic account. and you have to make sure that you're sending money from your reference account only. Beneath that, you can provide your tax information. For example, you can provide your 11-digit tax ID here so that Trade Republic can easily send all of the financial information to the finance app and you don't have to worry about sending or doing anything on your end. Beneath that, you can put in your exemption order. As I've mentioned in previous videos that as a single individual, you can have a tax-free benefit of 801 euros, meaning that you can have 801 euros of profit which will actually be tax-free. And for couples, you can have 1602 euros tax-free. So you can create an exemption order, you can put in this amount and this will be tax-free for you. Beneath that is some general information. You can also contact Trade Republic using the app. So this was it for today's video. Hopefully it was useful for you. If you have any questions, don't forget to write them down in the comments below. And if you like this video, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. You can also contact me on Instagram. And until the next video, bleib gesund.